This episode of Star Trek Universe, we are going where NOMAD'S gone before in our review of The Changeling.
God damn it.
Right after
Go on.
right after these utopia-seeking, string-riding robots erase your memory for the length of an episode. Welcome into Star Trek Universe. We are continuing our rewatch / first watch of Star Trek, the original series. I am your host, David C. Robertson. I am doing the rewatching since I've seen all of this so many times.
And I am Effie Pellers, meaning I do the first watch and the slash. I want the slash too.
Oh, all right.
You already have the re. You know, I gotta have something.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know what the implications of that are. You'll have to explain that to
we
me.
won't think about it too long. Yeah, we'll do that after the cast. Yeah.
Fair enough. We are talking about The Changeling. We got a story outline here by John Meredith Lucas. And apparently, like, the first contribution of his to Star Trek. And he will become the producer who replaces Gene L. Kuhn near the end of the season.
Okay. Oh.
But for this episode, we have a final draft teleplay by DC Fontana and a final draft by Gene L. Kuhn.
Right, okay. So, all of the All-Stars. Sure.
Yeah. According to the Memory Alpha synopsis, the Enterprise finds an ancient interstellar probe from Earth missing for 265 years, which has somehow mutated into a powerful and intelligent machine sterilizing entire populations that do not meet its standards of perfection. By the way, very, very interesting concept here of a machine basically having merged with another machine, gotten its signals mixed up here, and is now on basically carrying out a holy war in the name of its creator.
Yeah.
With its bad translation and mixed memories.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to destroy everything in the name of Kirk.
It is gonna be a religious episode. Yeah, no, that checks out. It's very much a case of how do you mess this up so bad. But it is delightful that just the sterilization of soil can be, you know, hypothesized to be in reason enough to sterilize everything that is, you know, too alive.
Yeah.
Bacteria, wrong. Humanoids, wrong. All of it, fucked up. And other than that, it's like, there's a creator. He must have been perfect. Don't think about that for too long, because you'll explode.
Yeah.
But is this only the second time he's talked the computer to death?
I think so.
Because I remember the first time you were like, this is going to happen a couple more times. And I was like, hey, we're there.
Oh, yeah. It happens a few more times. I
like this execution, though. It worked for me. Like, I was like, oh, we've seen it before, but it works. It makes sense.
It occurred to me
this time the logic checks out.
It occurred to me that it was very, very iffy. Because I was like, dude, if you convince that machine, who knows that all of you guys are imperfect, that it itself is also imperfect.
Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't he kill you guys first and then?
Why isn't this a massacre, suicide? You know, like.
Yeah. Why aren't we blowing up the whole ship? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was risky in that sense, but at least the way he worked the computer into a paradox was actually, like, it made sense.
Yeah.
It was, that part was fine. And that helps because you have to understand what the hell he's talking about for you to go, that would wreck the computer. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I liked that. I did. It was fun. I was just thinking, like, for just a second, I'm like, ooh, this is such a big risk. But, you know, as Kirk has said, risk is our business.
It is. And I was sitting there too, like, this. You better hope he prioritizes sanitizing his own fucking circuits before he, you know, like, are we going to repair life support systems before then? Because I don't think he will. So you better be up for it yourself.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the anti-gravity things that, weirdly enough, gave him gravity, I guess. So I'm not sure why that was called anti-gravs, but just the way of like, now we can pick him up and take him somewhere. That was a fun way of working with the prop in a way that made sense within the story.
Yeah. I like
we got to carry him. We're not going to slowly have him moved over there. That's
Yeah, it's like being stuck behind somebody in one of those like barely charged motorized carts at this grocery store or something. You're just like, okay, what is happening? And it's weird because, by the way, it has nothing to do with anything except for me just bitching. Why do the people who are in those carts never know that anyone's around them? Including able-bodied teenagers.
Of course. I would like to add, I live in a country where those carts in the supermarket are not motorized.
Oh.
We just have to push those damn things. That's, and you know what? People like it. There are tiny ones for like children under 5 who can take like the tiny carts with a big flag so you can monitor where your kid is at, just so they can push a cart.
Yeah.
Because that's fun and it has wheels. The wheels do get stuck often. But other than that, we just have physical labor for that.
Yeah. Well,
there's no assistance.
Here they're barely charged. And if someone is in one, at some point you will see those people
Wait,
stuck
you actually
somewhere.
sit in it? It's like that's insanity. I've never even seen this.
I mean, you will watch people who completely can walk, who just don't want to deal with it because the motorized cart has like a big cart.
Oh god. So it's basically one of those that we do have outside for like people who aren't able-bodied.
Right.
But like there are multiple of them inside the supermarket and you can take them whether or not you have issues.
Right.
That is madness. This fucking country, my goodness.
But they will always
put
get
this
stuck
on the list of things we have to visit just whenever I do come to Alabama. At some point, I will have to see a supermarket just for the motorized cars.
Yeah, but you will find these people stuck in an aisle and like it's no longer going because the battery's dead. So they're just like bouncing up and down and jostling and trying to like...
That does not help. That's so bad. But what if you're like, if you actually have difficulty walking, let alone carrying a cart, like some asshole teenager has been joyriding that thing through the supermarket, it's out of charge, and you're just stuck in the middle of an aisle?
Yeah.
That's a terrible fucking solution for this problem.
Now, of course, most of the time, when I see people stuck, it is some asshole teenager who then gets mad, stands up, and kicks the cart, and cusses it and walks away.
Just leave it there.
Yeah.
Fucking some employee will clean it up. Oh my goodness. Those people are not paid enough to deal with your shit.
Years ago when I worked at Walmart, and I only do this at Walmart, and I've told my wife this, I don't mind putting things back in the wrong place at Walmart, because when I worked at Walmart, that gave me something to do.
That's fair. That's fair.
And that thing that I did was much more enjoyable than whatever one of the umpteen desperate to exert their power managers, because there would be like there's like 5 or 6 managers on duty running around trying to tell everybody what they should be doing.
Yeah, you're standing around, go bring that from A to B and then back from B to A.
But if they see you with a cart and you've got a bunch of stuff in it and you're taking it to the appropriate departments, they're going to be like, good job, Robertson.
Damn it, you're so proactive and taking an initiative.
Look at you. Look at you.
You could be store manager in a couple of years, when I'm still here.
I don't know how it works anywhere else, so I won't do it there. But yeah, anyway, moving on to this actual episode. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah.
Star Trek.
Yeah. Nomad is, even watching
Nomad.
Even watching this episode, just like, oh my god, Nomad's moving so slowly.
Yeah, that's the one thing where it's like, it builds tension though. Like in concert with the music, it sort of works.
A little bit.
But there are long shots of just, we got to get this to the other side of the room. Come on.
Yeah. Also, it's like, even after like Nomad escapes and they know he's escaped and he's just like wandering the corridors of the Enterprise, no one seems like they care, even though he keeps killing people and wiping memories and shit.
Yeah. Like, half of the crew doesn't know what this thing is, and it's just like, that's another machine that's just floating through the hallway, not my business, not gonna interact.
Is the crew of the original Enterprise so jaded? Because, let me tell you, that is...
Quite possibly.
That is exactly how they would play it on lower decks. Where
that
they would
makes
just
sense,
be like,
yeah.
it's another supercomputer floating through the halls. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Just don't even try. It'll probably kill me if I do. Like, not my business. Yeah.
Like,
that makes sense.
Shit, don't sing. It'll wipe your memory.
Yeah.
I can't go through the re-education process again.
Yeah, god damn it. It takes me, like, I've been educated to college level, like, 3 times now. Jesus Christ. Oh. It must be tiresome. I am glad it will just completely also, rewrite your personality and experiences and life and stuff. Like, your character will apparently be intact. It's just knowledge. Just got to catch up on all of your professional responsibilities and also reading.
Yeah. Which was strange.
It was fun to see her do some acting other than, the usual 3 lines, but
yeah.
She had a different outfit even. Hospital gown. Yeah.
But the implication is so bothersome to me.
Oh, but that's with like everything where they're like, we have this technique and this machine for that, and the psychic tricorders and the transcoders. Jesus, that's an actual word. I have trans on the mind. It's all happen to you. There's so much stuff where it's like, oh, we can just fix that, but we have other limitations that can't be fixed. But this one is just, guess we gotta, steamboat her right through all of the courses that got her here, but in a couple weeks instead of 20 years.
Yeah, but the implication though is that she's got no memories. Her brain is a clean slate. So
yeah,
the fact that in this universe or in this episode, which supposedly takes place in this universe, we've got an Uhura,
whichever one that is,
has her mind completely wiped.
Mm-hmm.
Which they say over and over again.
Yeah.
But her memories are gone. She has no memories of who she was, her family, her likes, dislikes, all of this shit.
Yeah. So everything you never told anyone, like, is that on a memory bank somewhere? Like, are all your secrets and personal weird fetishes like on a file in your employer's data bank somewhere so they can re-implant this? Oh, and then when you were 4, you got into this weird accident at school, and ever since you've been really into feet, and it's just, how does one relearn that?
Yeah.
Like, if they can't implant that knowledge, if they have to go like physically outside of it, and your parents are named this is their birthday, but really you always forget it. So really just remember that one and forget that one because you already didn't know it. It's like, how are you going to rewrite an entire person? Yeah. It's hilarious.
Or is there some other way that she has backups? Because, she's speaking Swahili. So
Right. Like, apparently she does remember how that works. So she defaults to some knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure Nurse Chapel wasn't sitting there, like, going through all of Swahili first.
No, she was going, no, English.
English. It's the only thing you need to know. But you still have... That's a weird full wipe, now that you mention it. That's just... You were born speaking Swahili, but then you had to learn English. This is not how language acquisition works. I've had classes on this.
This is a dodgy
I did not enjoy them, but I know that much.
This is a dodgy
That is very
episode.
much, yeah. Don't think on it for too long. That's the real moral of the story every time.
Yeah.
There were a good number of he's dead gyms in this one, though. Like, I did enjoy that. Now that you've pointed it out, it's every single time I'm like, yep, that's another one dead. Next episode wasn't any fewer, so.
Yep.
Oh,
even killed Scotty.
Yeah. I was at that point. I was like, okay, apparently we're gonna, reinstate some of these people. But at the same time, at that point, I was like, oh, let's while we're at it, is there a way we're going to retcon the 4 billion deaths in this sector? No.
Oh, no. That's just...
Those are dead. Those are gone.
Happen. Well,
that's
I mean...
just... some of them are vaporized, you can't help that. But the bodies that are just zapped, those can be repaired.
Yeah. He just, Nomad just flung Scotty and killed him. He didn't vaporize him.
No. It was just some force field bullshit. Some zappy zaps.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know how... I don't know how upset you might be learning this. But very specifically, Earth probe gets intercepted by another probe or another technology.
Yeah, which we assume is
this plot.
Alien.
This plot happens again in Star Trek.
Oh,
I won't tell you where.
That's good.
But
but it comes back up. That sucks. That's just, god damn it, guys.
This is like one of those where it's just like, did you like it that much?
Like, this is the idea you were like, let's redo it again, just to really hammer it home.
It is done better.
I mean, if they improved on it, like, yeah, sure. If they were like, people are only going to catch a couple on re-aired random episodes, they'll catch the good one and never know about the bad one. That's how that works.
Yeah.
People won't buy box sets or anything.
Yeah, but they're
weird.
These are never held in quite high regard. Like,
no, of course not.
These episodes are just always like, God, there was just something wrong with it every time. Like, it's not always the same thing. Like, there is always the little
there
dent
are different
every time they do it. I mean, they've done like 900 episodes and like 13 movies. So every time they do it, it's like, God, why are we doing that again? But then also there's like, well, they did this part really good this time. But over here...
there was a bit of a twist, and that resulted in different problems.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's nothing new under the sun. It's going to happen when you have...
Sure.
Nearly 1,000 episodes of any franchise.
Exactly. Like, I'm not mad at it. It's just, I hope it's not, like, in 5 episodes. But don't say anything. Very wise. I don't want to know.
Mm-hmm.
It is funny that there's like, because in the episode they only say like somewhere in the early 2000s, which is, a far futuristic time. But then you read the Memory Alpha description where it's like, no, 265. Like that's the years. Mm-hmm. So they've dated this exactly once again. How did they get from early 2000s to 2004? It was 2004, whatever. I'm not. That's probably not it. 2007. I don't know, but that's once again lovely. Just thank you, Memory Alpha, for being nerds about this shit.
Yeah, but Star Trek. The Star Trek timeline is a sliding scale at this point. So
sure, but like. Even acknowledging that, it's just fun to me that the synopsis has more information concretely in there than is in the episode. That's not how you summarize anything.
Yeah, I know. It's weird.
But, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Sure.
I'll have to.
Oh, man. I did, despite the fact that there were so much death in the episode, it's interesting that, they're still making jokes at the end of the episode. But Kirk's like, it's not easy to lose a bright and promising son. My son, the doctor. What?
Yeah. Weird joke, but you need to end on a light note, apparently. It's very much add some levity at the end, Send the people home with a fun feeling.
You and I have often preferred the episodes that have like a dark tone to it.
Yeah,
like, oh,
the last line where it's like, damn, motherfucker.
Like,
you just made it worse.
Yeah, you won't see the implications of this because we're going to reset. But you can imagine that Kirk's going to think about this for at least a good 10 minutes. And it'll weigh on his soul.
And then we'll go into the next episode and it will not have happened. But for now, you can imagine him having character growth. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is very much the thing he does in case of death.
Mm-hmm.
But that's mostly next time, I think. Yeah. Then he gets really, really just I'm responsible for all these people, and that we're not there yet.
Yeah, no.
At this point, it's mostly, Scott is one of my best units. I need a chief engineer.
Uh-huh.
It is the second time that Scotty just runs out to protect a female officer, one he isn't as explicitly romantically interested in, but it is very much a, let me interfere in the dumbest way possible.
Mm-hmm.
Let me physically run into the dangerous thing.
Mm-hmm. By the way, the director, Mark Daniels, is the person portraying Jackson Roykirk in the photograph, and he's wearing Scotty's dress uniform.
Oh, that's fun. I didn't take a long look at the photograph, but I'll believe it.
Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah, nice cameo.
At conventions, Nichelle Nichols frequently tells a story of getting into a dispute with director Mark Daniels over the filming of the episode. As it had already been established that Uhura's first language was Swahili, Nichols believed that after her mind was erased, Uhura would revert to her first language. However, as Nichols herself did not speak Swahili, Daniels wanted Uhura to just speak English. Nichols refused, telling Daniels Nichelle Nichols does not speak Swahili, but Uhura does.
Yeah.
Gene Roddenberry was eventually brought in to settle the dispute, and he sided with Nichelle Nichols. A linguist specializing in Swahili was then brought in to write the few lines of Swahili that are spoken in the episode. I appreciate the attention to detail here.
Absolutely. I also am slightly weirded out by the fact that they chose a language that she specifically has no affinity with. You have an actor. Like, why?
Well, she's the one that pushed the issue, but, you know...
Yeah, that's very, very smart of her.
First season, one of the very first episodes, it was
right,
established.
but I would have expected that to be in there because she spoke Swahili.
Yeah.
And then it's like, nah, you're going to have to bring me a translator, guys. And then I'm like, this seems inconvenient. Why did we make this character choice?
I think because they were... Here's the funny thing. Gene Roddenberry is very adamant that he wanted all this like really diverse ethnicity on Star Trek. But
which is why we have a Scottish person, right?
Right. But the truth is, I mean, maybe that was true to some degree, but there is more than enough documentation that NBC was very much pushing diversity and wanted more people of color and wanted, you know, more cultural.
Which is why Uhura's there, period.
Wanted more cultural representation. So I would bet anything, because it's the late 60s, although I haven't seen a specific memo about this, I would bet anything they were like, we don't want to ever even possibly get close to addressing the controversy of black culture in America as it is right now in the civil rights movement. So we'll make her Swahili.
Fair. That makes a lot of sense.
Somehow that feels more exotic. That feels more culturally removed.
Yeah. It suggests, same as Sulu, like we're not all just having like an African American. It's no. We're having multiple nationalities. It is a united federation of planets, and Earth is one, global body now. So let's not think about nationalism too much and the way that's impacted wherever she ended up on the bridge. Reparations for Uhura, damn it.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, it's they probably tried to sidestep that one, and that's wise at that point in time. Sure, the viewers in the 60s had opinions on stuff.
You know it. All right, so
all commies. They were all commies, not the viewers. the civil rights movement.
So for someone who had this is from Memory Alpha as well, for someone who had every single one of her memories erased, Uhura recovers in a remarkably short time. In fact, by the time of her next appearance, Mirror, Mirror, Uhura has apparently regained all of her faculties. It is possible that Nomad did not fully erase her memories. Somewhat how a computer's files index entry can be overwritten, but the data itself can still be recovered. Exabytes of data would take a while to restore, but would not take nearly as long as learning from a zero start point.
That's fun. That's a fun headcanon, where it's like, you didn't wipe it 7 times by writing zeros over every bit of data. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Otherwise, she would have just been pissing all over the place immediately, probably. So can't have that on the show in the 60s.
Why did you have to say that? All I gotta say is...
Sorry, my brain went there.
All I have to say is fetish unlocked.
Oh, Lordy.
No.
She actually did wet her medbay bed just because she wanted to, not because she had no faculties anymore of not wetting the bed. It was just for her pleasure.
Jesus. After Nomad explodes...
This is the headcanon we add to the fandom, Dave. This is what we're here for.
Why not? After Nomad explodes, Shatner quickly raises his hand to the camera as the scene fades away. An outtake of this scene is incorporated into the blooper reel of the show's second season. At one point, Shatner turns to the camera and declares, "Listen, about that bacon. No, really." And then appears to swallow something, presumably medication for an upset stomach. His comment follows an earlier outtake that shows him sitting in the captain's chair on the bridge and confiding, "No, listen, that bacon is really bad. It just stays with you all day."
Why was that in there in the first place? Who wrote that line?
I'm pretty sure it's just William Shatner being funny.
That makes sense. Yeah. Jesus. That's weird. But also, we live in a utopia, the United Federation of shouldn't there be somewhat more vegetarian options than everyone's just generating bacon? How does this work? The food situation on the Enterprise is not yet really been explained.
Hey, you know what though? They are already making in real life 3D printed meat.
That's true. You have the laboratory meats that just grow in a petri dish instead of in an animal, and that's true. That's cool.
Yeah, they're just using stem cells. It better
get less costly. Yeah, we're waiting for that.
Yeah, I mean, people are already.
Until
trying
then,
it.
I will feel guilty for eating bacon. That's just the way the world works.
Yeah, I mean, if it tastes the same, I'll take 3D printed meat. I don't give a shit.
Absolutely, give me that. Unless it's like I said, it's probably going to be really fucking expensive for the foreseeable future, and that I cannot afford.
Yes, maybe no. Who knows?
It'll get to a mass production scale eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It'll probably be more space efficient than keeping a bunch of cows just in a way too crammed space like we do now. So, just a bunch of petri dishes.
Spock
you can make them square and stack them. It'll be easier.
Yeah. Spock mentions that Nomad's first attack on the Enterprise was the equivalent of 90 photon torpedoes. That's 90.
Yes.
Surprisingly, this attack only reduced the shields by 20%. Where,
you shouldn't have done math, Spock. That's not how this show works.
Usually on an episode, you might see him get hit two or three times, and they're like, the shields are dying.
Yeah.
Those
are much better photon torpedoes.
Yeah. Those are Kirkland photon torpedoes that they were talking about with Nomad's power.
Yeah. They have a specific, just an international unit of, this is the photon torpedo entity, it's just a shorthand for the exact amount of joule.
It's like the energy efficient bulbs that say this is the equivalent of 40 watts.
Yeah, but it doesn't take 40 watts, so what are we even talking about? It's just bright. Just buy a dimming light, for fuck's sake. But anyway, we have LEDs now.
This seems even stranger a few moments later when Nomad absorbs the energy of a single photon torpedo, and Kirk wonders how anything could absorb so much energy and survive.
Right. How do their shields take that? Even if it's a tiny ship. Yeah. Don't think about it too much.
Yeah. This episode marks one of 4 times Kirk is able to talk a computer to death. 4 times.
1 of 4, you said? 4. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's a good number. Yeah. 3 would have been too few. 6 would have been too many.
Even though this episode is stated to take place on Stardate 3541.9, the episode list from the official website says it takes place on Stardate 3451.9.
So someone messed up a line, being Shatner?
No. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. So there's arguments about continuity. Who'd have guessed?
Yep. I mean, Roddenberry didn't keep a strict timeline on it.
No, so. Quite the opposite. So, who cares?
All right. You got anything else for this episode?
I don't think so. I would like to reiterate that even the slow moving, like, you realize it's kind of it's the corny thing of like, they're trying to crane this over very slowly without having it wiggle back and forth. But it worked for me. It did have it built the tension well, just to have it creeping around the corners instead of just swooshing. Like, it did work for me, where it's like, if it had been sped up, it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, but with it moving
it has that sort of creepy,
With it moving so slowly, I wanted it to be more suspenseful. I wanted it to be more of like a horror thing.
Fair. The music wasn't quite at that level, no.
But I will tell you, one of the things I really liked was when Spock is mind melding with it. And he keeps doing that. They've got that close up of him and his hands on the machine. And he's like slowly spinning.
Turning, yeah.
And then slowly turning back, like spinning back. Yeah. I thought that was like really cool effective.
Shot. Yeah. It did feel like it was like 2 lines too long. Because he was... It should have, like, there was one line I would have cut out where it was like, you're repeating that one too often, and then you're gonna, but that's purely writing shit, where I'm like, okay, so you repeated that one 2 times, but then you did switch to another line as the final line, just scrap the middle one. That's my brain when I watch anything, apparently.
Yeah.
I went to a play last night, and I was like, I know people who are performing. I should shut the fuck up afterwards and not share every note I've got, because I'll wreck their evening, you know?
Yeah.
It's hard being a creative, not trying to improve on shit.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah. All right. Well, next time, an apple a day keeps the serpent at bay.
Indeed.
While young natives gather crops to feed Vol, we'll be offering our opinions to shove down your maws. You
got me there.
Join us for our review of The Apple next week. Until then, Jolon True, live long, prosper, and as always,
eat a dick, people. Eat a dick. Vol would eat a dick, right?
Vol would eat anything you fed to him, I think.
I'd hope so, yeah. If he's going to be a picky eater, that's just weird. Take it or leave it, man.
Thank you for listening to the Star Trek Universe Podcast, a Stranded Panda production. If you'd like to hear more from David C. Robertson, check out the DC On Screen podcast or maladjusted.tv for his web videos. If you'd like to hear more from Matthew Carroll, check out the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast or listen to his music. Just search for Matthew Carroll anywhere you get music.